Okay, so moving on to this big claim in the headlines that Murdaugh's lawyers, his defense team, have new evidence. And when I first read that, I was like, what do they mean, new evidence? Like, are they going to try to claim mistrial? Like, what? Are they going to try to... Is this a part of the appeal process? No. They're literally putting the appeal on hold. They're suspending it. And they're coming out with this new evidence they have that the clerk, the, like, county clerk...
Yep.
Which is an elected official, might I add, tampered with the jury. That she influenced them by doing all kinds of stuff, honestly. There's a lot of claims here. And I was watching The Lawyer You Know. Shout out to him. He's literally incredible. I want to do a collab with him one day because he's so knowledgeable. I feel like, you know... He tries to remain unbiased in a lot of situations, and his coverage on this was really, really good because he has a lot of experience in the courtroom. He knows how it's supposed to work. And he was saying, this is unheard of. This is unprecedented. And then I went on to watch like Court TV and some other things, and everybody was saying, this is not normal. Like, this doesn't happen. And if it is happening, like, this is a serious problem. The county clerk should not be talking to the jury. She should be saying, what do you want for lunch? You know, making hotel reservations. She's like the operations manager of the court. She is not meant to do anything with the jury. She should not have close, direct contact with them like that and talking with them. And... basically, what happened is somehow the defense team... Okay, so she wrote a book. The county clerk wrote a book. Let's start with that. She wrote a book about, it's something, like, behind-the-scenes type book.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Of the trial of Murdaugh. And apparently everybody said this book is horrible. That it glorifies her. The whole thing is about her and glorifying her in this trial, which makes no sense at all. And it was trash, is what everyone's saying. And everyone's saying it's like a money grab. Like, this was totally
glorifies
a money...
her? Like,
yes!
Who are you?
I know! She's just the county clerk. Like, what? It makes no sense.
Cash grab.
Which, honestly, worries me a little bit with the Kohberger case, because Chief Fry's wife is the clerk of the court, is she not?
Yeah.
And we're already worried about a biased jury.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so from what I heard from the defense team is they've only ever heard of, like, jury tampering like this with bailiffs. Okay. Because they're the ones that have, like, really close direct contact with the jurors.
And police.
Yep. And jurors are never supposed to talk about the case with each other or literally anybody else. They are never supposed to talk about it, period. Well, apparently, the county clerk was coming into the jurors' chambers and saying stuff like, don't let them fool you. Like, watch what Alex does. You know, watch his body language or whatever. Watch what he does. Don't let them sway you. Like, talking about the defense team. And this comes from multiple jurors. Independent accounts, okay? And they wrote a sworn affidavit. So this is not just word of mouth. They literally wrote a sworn affidavit independently of each other. 3 jurors.
Was there any threatening tactics in there?
So basically, one thing I guess you could kind of consider threatening is they said that when they were, like, going to deliberate a verdict, that she came in there and said no smoke breaks until you find a verdict.
Oh, what?
And then also the judge, apparently, which they said, we don't think the judge did anything wrong. But, and this kind of seemed like it was getting pinned on the county clerk, but it might not have actually been her that said it. But, like, if they came to deliberate that day, didn't pack bags, okay? And they're like, well, if you don't find a verdict by the end of the day, you're going to have to stay at a hotel with no packed bags. Like, there was no planning, which could be an issue with the court not planning right. But she's in charge of that stuff, I thought. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that part.
The judge's last comment when he was delivering sentencing, though, I felt like wasn't needed.
What did he say?
With making a comment where I'm sure when you're laying down at night that your wife and son are visiting you. He meant that in a negative way. Alex spun it in a positive way and said, yes, every night that I'm laying down, I see my wife and my son. In my opinion, that wasn't needed. Opinion isn't needed in court. Like,
A lot of sentencing. A lot of people like the judges, like in the her sentencing, Lori Daybell.
Yeah, but that was not opinion-based attacking her at, like, I don't know.
Maybe it was different, but I don't recall hearing that comment. So maybe it felt different when it was said. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was like came off more as like an attack, like I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate Alex Murdaugh, which I totally get why he's hated. Yeah. I don't think anybody likes him because he's corrupt. Yeah. He was in a position of authority. He was in a position of privilege, and he was totally took advantage of it and is a total complete piece of crap criminal. But that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve a fair trial. And if somebody is in there making the jury feel like they have to hurry and find him guilty or, trying to influence them, like the jury doesn't necessarily know what's right in the court. Like they could be people who have never been in a court proceeding ever in their life, okay, let alone be a juror. And when court officials are telling you this stuff, I'm sure you don't really question it.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not the juror's fault at all.
No.
And
no. What do you want him to, like, la la la? You know what I mean? Come on. Yeah.
So from what the lawyer, was saying, and several other people, like even all the people on Court TV, they're like, if this is all true, if this is all 100% true, he deserves another trial.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what you think of him. He absolutely deserves another trial.
Yep.
And I totally agree with that.
We said this already once this podcast, but we stand with the evidence. I try to never ever look at the defendant. I try and never ever look at the lawyers that are involved. I try and only look at the crime and the evidence that's there. And all the additional opinions, like, that's great. We love everybody's opinion and their take on any case or situation or anything that's going on. But in the courtroom, there's no room for that. There's no room for that. Just let the evidence speak and let the lawyers do their job. They know where that line is. They know how far they can push it. They know what they're doing.
Yep.
Most of them have decades of experience. So, county clerk, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're literally there to manage the place, basically. You're not there to do any influencing on the jury whatsoever. Like, it's so ridiculous. So her name's Rebecca Hill. That's her name. I don't think I said her name at the beginning. So it says, these are the main claims. She tampered with the jury by advising them not to believe Murdaugh's testimony and other evidence presented by the defense, pressuring them to reach a quick guilty verdict, and even misrepresenting critical material information to the trial judge in her campaign to remove a juror she believed to be favorable to the defense.
Oh.
So that last part is about a Facebook post. So there was the lead juror, and this all happened during the trial. I'm sure a lot of you saw it going on where they removed a juror because of a Facebook post, and that the judge did decide, like, oh, okay, like, yeah, you can't be on the jury. If it was her ex-husband, it was a woman, I think, and her ex-husband allegedly posted something to Facebook talking about the case. And which made it seem like she was talking to people outside of the courtroom about the case. And so he removed her from the jury and then, like, appointed a new juror as a lead juror. And apparently this new juror was someone that the county clerk had been kind of buddying up with.
Oh my gosh.
And the defense team
What?
for Alec Murdaugh believes that she removed a juror, fabricated the story, and removed a juror that was favoring Alec to replace her with one that wasn't, that thought he was guilty. And their evidence of this is they went to the ex-husband, and apparently he provided all of his Facebook history to them, and there is no evidence of these Facebook posts whatsoever, ever existing, ever.
Oh my gosh. That is...
It's damning evidence so far.
Really, really damning evidence. Oh my gosh.
I know, it's really bad. And the defense attorney said they went, like, after they started finding this stuff out, they went door to door knocking on, like, jurors' doors and stuff. And they said all of them but, like, 3 were like, get out of here. Don't ever come back. Like, you know, like, really didn't want to talk to them. Like, you know, and then they had those 3 that all independently wrote their affidavits. One of them wasn't like it wasn't their personal account. It was what they told, like, a paralegal, and then the paralegal wrote it into an affidavit. But the other 2 were from the jurors' own words. And these are all independent of each other. Like, they weren't all in a room together or anything at any point.
Yeah, that's wild. But that juror replacement is
and they
insane.
Well, see, here's the thing. None of them contradict each other at all, and all of their statements confirm each other's.
Oh, man.
So
what a bad situation.
It is bad. And I saw on Court TV, they interviewed the co-author of Rebecca Hill's book. And apparently, his wife met her at some point, like, I think throughout the trial or something like that. Okay. And then later, his wife had, like, Rebecca Hill's phone number and called her about something unrelated, and then, like, they started talking about, like, a book or something, and then she was like, oh yeah, I've been thinking about writing a book. And then he's like, this guy who can make it happen, like an author. And so they, like, get together and they write a book, and he's like, we thought it was really interesting. You know, it's never been done by a county clerk before.
Duh.
And Court TV, like, some of the experts on there were ripping that apart. Like, are you this seems like, this just doesn't make sense. Like, are you kidding me? It all happened by just random circumstance. Like, she didn't plan this at all. It just fell into her lap.
Right,
that
because
this guy's wife
innocent,
had her phone number, and they just like, oh yeah, we should write a book. That's really interesting. No.
And if he would have been found innocent, then she would have had nothing.
Yeah, she would have had
nothing.
Yeah. So
no book, nothing.
A lot of, you know, the defense and others are alleging that she literally planned this, like, from the beginning of the trial.
This
like, anticipated the trial.
So wild.
And this was like she was trying to get fame and, like, money and stuff. Which is weird. I just, that's a weird motive, in my opinion.
Then go pursue a different career,
right?
Not a county
Why
clerk.
not be an attorney then? Why not be a badass prosecutor or badass, like, defense attorney or
where
something?
You could legally talk about things like this? Yeah, with your defendant, yeah.
It's super weird.
It is. It's strange. It is really strange.
But yeah, he could be getting a whole new trial. They have to get the judge may have to be a witness. So they may have to go through a different judge, and he will be a witness. Like, have to take the witness stand.
That just gave the defense full control, man. She screwed up.
She did. And I did see the lawyer note talking. So people were saying in his comments, like, could this be some kind of thing
set
to
up
get
from the defense?
Set up from the defense, like, they paid off the jurors.
Mole?
They paid off the jurors, or also talking about trying to, because he's pleading guilty to all the financial crimes, that he'll get put in a federal prison
Oh yeah, I know about the
and
whole
then
federal
and then
prison
like
grab.
this will come in after, so
Yep.
then he will be in federal prison where he wants to be. But
Yes.
why would he want to be in federal prison?
So the difference in what you're allowed to have in a federal prison versus a state prison is night and day. In a federal prison, you can literally have your own room, your own TV, all kinds of snacks and amenities, and you're essentially staying in an armored hotel room. Okay, not really that nice, but in comparison to a state penitentiary, that's what it seems like. So the amenities are so different. Here's the truth, okay? With Alec already admitting, which is interesting though, okay, because they have over 100 financial charges against him, where they can use him admitting his guilt in this case, in this court case, to charge him with those 100 and something charges brought against him. If this gets thrown out, are they allowed to use that anymore? They might not be able to use that. So this might be restart 100%, like from the beginning, full stop restart.
Oh, maybe.
Actually, I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm going to have to dig in a little bit because I don't know. I've never seen a situation like this.
Yeah, I don't. Nobody has. Literally nobody has seen a situation like this where a county clerk has done something like this.
Why did she have to...
She's an idiot. So
tamper?
The name of Rebecca Hill's book is Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders. It was published in July. It's all about her experience of this trial, her family's history with the Murdaughs, and it's literally, from what I saw, just all about her. But, so, she pressured them to deliberate less than 3 hours on his guilt, which is pretty wild, because that is a short time for a jury to deliberate.
Yep, they're supposed to be able to deliberate any
amount of time, pretty much. So also she secured like media appearances for the jurors and went like with them, which is unheard of. Really weird. So it says Miss Hill did these things to secure for herself a book deal and media appearances that would not happen in the event of a mistrial, the motion says. Ms. Hill betrayed her oath of office for money and fame. It also claims she invented a story about the Facebook post. So it's really weird, though, that she started directing these media appearances for herself and the jury.
It is.
That is strange.
I think the whole thing is strange.
And
it's
that
all
to
a
me,
setup
proved her setting it up for her book deal and her appearances more than anything, because that doesn't make sense for the county clerk to set up media appearances for the jury. That has nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, I agree.
That to me proves that she was in it for fame and trying to get this book deal off the ground. 100%.
Oh, you mean, and not as a mole for the defense or the prosecution or something like that, that it was just personal gains that ruined this case. Yeah. I think so. Based on everything I'm hearing, absolutely that's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But I think we should definitely watch the defense team's press conference that they had talking about this on live stream.
Yes.
Because it was good.
We should.
It was really good.
So be there.
Yep, but that's all I got on that. I want to know what you guys think about this. Like, it's pretty insane. And I saw people saying, like, you know, how do we prevent this in the future? This is unheard of. This is unprecedented.
Right.
Like, this doesn't happen. Like, we do
they
have
just
ways.
Do their job.
We do have ways of preventing this. I think that this is something. Maybe just in South Carolina.
Right.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Seems like the corruption runs pretty deep there. It's funny, she writes a book about her family's connections with one of the most corrupt families in the state.
Yeah.
And then she does something super corrupt herself.
Right. I know.
Like, ironic.
Get it together. Get it together. All right, so